Hello, all. It's 0 degrees out, so I'm not doing the video on my unheated back porch like usual, and the lighting is not so great in my living room, but it's not cold. So I'm drinking this wacky expensive thing from Treehouse called Double Baked. The wax is real thick, so I just went ahead and uncapped it before because it's not fun watching someone struggle to open a waxed bottle for like 2 minutes. So Double Baked is a barrel-aged barley wine in its simplest description. But this one, it began its life as Tree of Life, their base barley wine, aged in Buffalo Trace and Wild Turkey barrels for a year. Then it was put into apple brandy barrels for 3 months. Then it was blended with Tree of Life aged in rum barrel for 15 months. Then they blended in a small thread of Weizenbock that was aged in orange bitters barrels for 14 months to add some Hefeweizen spicy aromatics and fruitiness. This is supposed to be pretty good. It was $20 for one 12-ounce bottle. So it's like, I think it's the most expensive thing that Treehouse has released. So I got one. We'll see how it goes. There you go. The label's pretty cool. And I like the wax color choice. And this is world's smallest type. Very, very dark. I went to Cambridge Brewing Company's Barley Wine Festival, and they didn't have any barley wines that dark. They actually had a guest Pretty Things barley wine. That actually was more of this color. And yeah, we got a little bit of head there. I had to pour kind of hard, because this stuff is like real syrupy looking. And what does it smell like? Oh yeah, you definitely get the Weizenbock notes. It almost just seems like they added some spices to it. But there's definitely a deep, complex barley wine thing. I'm definitely getting barrel notes. So they've got rum, apple brandy, and bourbon. So yeah, maybe it's a little bit of the apple brandy. That fruitiness is mixing in with some of the fruitiness from the Weizenbock. And this beer is still a little bit cold. I let the bottle sit out for a while, so it's not fridge cold. But I'm definitely going to try to warm it up with my hand. Yeah, we've got a little bit of bubblage on top. It's not looking scary. Yeah, and I don't know how strong this is. It could be close to 15. I feel like it's probably not. Maybe I'll guess at the end of this video. But yeah, there's definitely Apple Jacks. Smells a little bit like that. But then there's rich caramely notes, sort of like figgy, boozy things happening. The booziness is not that scary. The barrel is not that scary, actually. But it almost has a hint of like ginger in there. The Weizenbock will throw out some clove-like phenols that might kind of do it. It almost seems like it's a big winter warmer barrel barley wine sort of thing. Yeah, it almost smells like ginger. And some of the barrels themselves can add cinnamon-like sort of qualities, especially from like the vanilla. Almost knocked this over. Very, very fun to smell. It smells very wintry, very Christmassy, actually. I wonder if they were hoping to get this out before Christmas. It's not really Christmas themed, I guess. Ooh, yeah. Very thick on the tongue. I get a lot more malt complexity in the flavor. The smell was a little bit ruled by the fruity notes and the spicy notes. But this is a serious barley wine. Very sweet. But I think you need the sweetness to handle all the stuff that's going on. That's fun. It's, I guess, caramel apple. It's like it's like caramel apple. That's kind of all the flavors come together. But it's very, very complex caramel. I don't know. I'm not quite getting the chocolate notes, even though it looks so dark. But I don't know. I'm not getting any roastiness. And I'm not sure how clear this is, but it's still got some carb. Yeah, it smells like the best caramel apple ever. That's really nice. Maybe it's a little too much carb. I don't know, because I'd probably then be complaining if it was flat. But it's like not perfectly silky on the tongue, but pretty nice, and I'm feeling the warmth, feeling it going down right now for sure. That's a fun beer. At first, I was worried that it would be too fruity and spicy. I'm sure there are people out there who would have preferred they just didn't put the Weizenbock in here, but it does make it something different. But I mean, all the different barrels in here make it something different: rum, apple brandy, and bourbon. I suppose breweries have done those three combos before, but then throwing in that Weizenbock from the bitters barrels is just wacky. Yeah, it smells just so spicy. But then the flavors just... Now I'm getting some toffee, a little more... Slight bitterness is coming in finally. I'm not really noticing too much tannins, but I'm getting a woody, oaky flavor. Some vanilla coconut is coming in now. Really, one of the most complex beers I've ever had, probably. A little sticky on the lips. Definitely a sipper. It's going to take me a while. And for the ABV, those legs are sticking on there pretty hard. They're not moving much. This is like probably at least 12. That would be my guess. But it's interesting. It's got sort of a definitely an Applejack sort of vibe. The spiciness from the Weizenbock and the apple brandy barrels. But then there's still that bourbon barrel, classic brown liquor, barreled barley wine thing happening. That's very, very nice. The only thing I guess I would say is that like the feel's not perfect. I mean, it's good, but I'm just looking for perfect silk velvet, that sort of thing on the tongue. But maybe I'm just being nitpicky. It's hard to rate a beer like this. It's really good. Not something I'm gonna ever drink again. Not something I'm drinking it because this is the coldest day I've experienced in years. I think it's still available. It's not moving so fast at the breweries. I think since they've been releasing so many pure barrel aged stuff at Treehouse, it's not as much of a big deal anymore. But they've never done anything this extensive. So I don't know if I'd even give much of a rating to this. It's a 4.5 beer. I mean, I don't know. It's just hard to hold it up against anything, whether this is like a perfect barley wine. It's very different from a barley wine. If you gave this to me blind, I'd be confused at first. Eventually, you'd probably figure it out. Like I'm getting all the complexity of the barrels and the malt now, even though it was so fruity and spicy. But this video is way too long. But this beer's there's a lot to talk about. So that's it.